Hi, everyone. This episode contains conversations about domestic violence and assault and human trafficking. Listen with care. Welcome to the Inspiring Women of Iowa podcast, a special series amplifying the stories of the Inspiring Women of Iowa finalists. Inspiring Women of Iowa is an annual event hosted by Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa with the goal of celebrating women of courage, confidence, and character who are making the world a better place. And why does that sound familiar? Well, because it also happens to be the mission of the Girl Scouts, where they believe society is better because strong women show girls that anything is possible. This event was created by Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa in 2017 to celebrate women in our community and share their stories, while raising support for the Girl Scout programs that build the next generation of inspiring women. 16 individuals are celebrated annually with the Courage, Confidence, Character, and Inspiring Advocate for Women awards. I'm your host, Teresa Peterson, Carmel Delight enthusiast, and I'm honored to have the chance to speak with these amazing, inspiring women and to share their stories with you. Joining me today is Christy Johnson. Christy serves as Deputy Secretary of State and Chief of Staff in the Iowa Secretary of State's office, where she has helped lead initiatives supporting survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking. She has been nominated for the Inspiring Advocate for Women Award. Welcome, Christy.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your dedication to this cause and to the state. What should we know about you and your work?
Yeah, well, I started here at the Secretary of State's office back in 2013 with the aspirations of working in elections. At the time, we didn't have the Safe at Home program, which is our address confidentiality program for survivors of violent crimes. And in 2015, there was legislation that was passed, and I saw it as something that I wanted to get involved with. I spoke with my boss at the time and just said, I just
Mm.
like a little involvement in this. However, you can help me, or however I can help you, I would love to do so. And a couple weeks later, I was handed a copy of the bill and asked if I wanted to run with it and implement the program. And it was such an honor to do that. And it's a passion project of mine. And it's been very rewarding to be part of something that's helped so many Iowans here and just to have active lives without the fear of being found by their offender. And so
Mm.
I've been working with this project. I'm um, always looking for ways to incorporate it more into communities and to spread the word and just to continue that work here.
If there are friends listening who aren't familiar with the program, or
Yeah.
maybe are thinking about someone they know who they might want to share that program with, tell us what we need to know. And I'm making a lot of assumptions about the difference it makes, but tell us what you have seen about the
Yeah.
difference that this makes for people.
Absolutely. So it might sound odd that it's in the Secretary of State's office, but that was done with a purpose. And that's so that these survivors can live active lives within
Mm.
their society and their communities. And one part of that is they're able to vote through the program confidentially. Because when you register to vote, everything is a public record, including your
Mm.
address. And so that's why it's here. And I like to preface that because it does seem odd that it's here in the secretary's office. But the services that we provide, in addition to registering to vote and voting confidentially, is that we provide a legal substitute address to all of our participants.
Mm.
With that, though, they're using this address and all of their mail will go to that address. That's not their actual residential address or mailing address. And so we receive all of that mail and we forward that mail on to the participant. So they are able to get bank checks. They're able to get
Mm.
any first class mail, stuff from their schools. Anything that comes first class, we'll go ahead and forward. It's a busy season during the holidays when we have holiday cards coming through. School season is very, heavy with the mail. And so they're just able to use that address as a protection. And the more they use the program, the more effective it's going to be. But then the more mail that's going to come to us. And so it's been very impactful. Since we started the program in 2016, we've seen our mail increase, we've seen participants increase, but we've also seen voter registration and participation within the program increase as well, which has been so rewarding to see as somebody who is passionate about elections as well. It's nice to be able to see that these individuals who haven't felt safe to vote in the past, because it is a
Yeah.
public record, to feel safe and to do so. And so it's just been incredible to see and to hear how it's helped these individuals across the state of Iowa.
I have never paused to consider that voting would feel like a moment where I'm vulnerable in that sense, or that like, that feels like another layer of harm or injury, like another way your voice is
Yeah,
taken away. That feels so important. That feels incredibly
absolutely.
important. Tell us
Yeah.
what it's like in 2026 when the world is a tricky place in a position like yours to serve all Iowans. Like, what are you thinking about when you get up every day to take care of all Iowans?
I think one important aspect for me is to remember that everyone has their own story and everyone
Mm,
is going through something different. My struggles today are different than your struggles. And as we're answering phone calls, we're answering emails, I'm just trying to remember that and to give them grace and to think it through from all perspectives. What may seem trivial to me is not trivial to others. And what matters to everyone is different. And so I do try to really put myself in others' shoes, especially
mm,
in this line of work, because they are going through so much and they do have a lot of questions and they have a lot of hesitation with doing certain things. And so on those tough days where we're receiving a lot of phone calls or a lot of inquiries, I do think that that's something that's important to remember. But I love the state of Iowa and I love the people here. And it's an incredible job to be able to help people from across the state and to meet those individuals,
mm,
whether they're in our Safe at Home program or if they're just in the community and they wanna know more. Um, it's just an incredible job and opportunity to be able to work with Iowans all over the state.
mm. That's beautiful. Tell us about something that you're really proud of with Safe at Home, or with something else you're working on, or a new, a revision or a new iteration of that. Tell us something that you're really proud of.
Yeah. So one thing that I'm extremely proud of is in 2015 when we had the legislation brought to us here at the Secretary of State's office, and
Mm,
I was charged with implementing the program. I turned to a lot of different states and asked them a
mm,
million and one questions, just best practices, you know, just examples of applications and different things, a lot of process questions. And today I get to serve as the vice president on the National Association of Confidential Address Programs. And I have it's been a full circle moment where I've been able to work with new programs and share Iowa's best practices and share our successes and share our lessons learned, our very hard lessons learned,
mm,
and just to be able to walk through what so many helped me walk through 10 years ago has been an incredibly rewarding experience. And to see our program grow from one of the newest eh, programs to being one that gets turned to from other states has been incredible. And getting to work with those who have mentored me from these other states has
mm.
just been incredible.
As you're saying this, it reminds me, I was reading something once about, like, to be really, like, the top tier professional means not only can you do the work, but you're sharing the work with others so freely. And as you were talking, my mind went right there of, not only have you led Iowa in this, but you're helping other states. You're sharing what you know so openly. And tell us, I'm thinking about, being an advocate for women, and I'm making an assumption that the majority of participants in the program are women, maybe women with children. Do you have that data that you can share? Or how does that look in terms of program participation?
Yeah, so we are at about 2,500 active participants, and that includes women, men, children from across the
Yeah.
state of Iowa. I don't have it broken down on
Mhm.
demographics, and we don't normally share the demographics.
Fair. Yep.
I can say that we have participants in almost all of our 99 counties here in the state of
Mm.
Iowa. Majority of them are survivors of domestic violence, but we
Mm.
also have participants who are survivors of human trafficking, stalking, assault, and sexual assault. And so we've gotten to work with an array of individuals that are here in this state. And it is incredible to know that there are so many participants who can utilize the program here in Iowa.
Yeah.
We always think it's Iowa nice, and we thought the program would be smaller. I'm pleased that we're able to help so many individuals. I wish we didn't need a program like this, but I'm
Mm.
thankful that those Iowans do have a program like this.
Absolutely. I think that's just worth celebrating, like, the numbers of people who
Mhm.
are participating, who are benefiting, and to anyone else listening who might not be aware of this, might have a loved one who might be interested. There's something that's very humbling, and I hear you. I think, especially in Iowa, it's easy to think, "Well, none of that's happening here,"
Mhm.
and it might be happening next door, right? Like, there's something very
Absolutely.
humbling. Tell us, you know, you're in this role where you've stepped into this project. This is amazing. You've got a lot of agency, like, around making good things happen, and there's a heaviness to it, right? There's an innate heaviness to it. How do you stay inspired?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, one thing that inspires me quite a bit is to work with the advocates and those who are working
Mm,
directly with the survivors on a day to day basis. There are a couple of agencies and advocate groups that have just really touched me,
mm,
in a way that has inspired me. One is Chains Interrupted out in Cedar Rapids. They have great leadership there. They've helped many survivors. They're always open to share their successes, their lessons learned.
mm,
They're always open to train people. But I think what really inspires me from this particular group is just the passion that they have. They are so passionate in helping to identify ways to prevent trafficking in the state, ways to educate students and those around them in the community. And just every time I have a question, if I reach out to them, no matter how small I think my question is, their passion comes through and they focus on making sure that I have all of the answers that I need. And they are just such a great partner. And the women that work there are just so awe-inspiring, and I love that, and
mm,
they're not the only group, there are so many groups like that who work with these people, and it is heavy work. When we're on the phone and we're hearing these stories, I always remind our team, we're not advocates, we're not trained to, help people through these tough situations, but sometimes those individuals who call us just need a listening ear,
mm.
but it's important
Yeah.
that we're also taking care of ourselves, and so if it's just taking a walk in the nice sunshine, or if it's picking up the phone and talking through it with colleagues from a different state who have similar um, situations occurring and similar phone calls, I think that that's important too. Just having others to lean on is
Mm,
really important. But I would say just working with those advocates and those who help these survivors day to day is just so inspiring.
I'm just sitting with that for a moment, and you're right, and I think as I think about the last few years, um, that's something we hear a lot is, like, just people share heavy things,
Mhm.
and we can't help but absorb some of that emotion, right? When you're really listening,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
absorb some of that, and I love your point about taking care of yourself. Maybe it's a quick walk, maybe it's talking to someone, a couple deep breaths. What do you do
Mhm.
to take care of yourself, when the heaviness is there?
Yeah. I'm a big advocate of just taking a walk and taking that time to reflect on it. I have to remind myself all the time that not everything is in my control, but what is
Mm,
in my control is just to share the information that we have. We usually have different resources available and handy to share with these individuals when they call. Um, And so I think just taking that time to remind myself that not everything can be helped by me, but there are others out there, and it's a team effort to help these individuals and these families is just really important to me. It's also really important to me to be able to just reach out to my colleagues in the other states. We're not sharing any specifics about the participant, their name, or their specific situation, but just picking up the phone and telling them, I had this really heavy call and I feel
Hmm.
like what I'm doing isn't helpful or isn't the solution that they need. And they're really good at just reminding me that the work does matter and that this program is just one tool in a toolbox that they need to have a full safety plan. And that's really
Mm.
important. Just that reminder that the work does matter, even if in the moment it doesn't feel like it does.
Yeah. I think when we care so deeply, it's easy to see all the things that could be, right? Or more. And I loved your point, like, this is a really important piece in a safety plan. And like doing that piece really well matters. Yeah.
Mhm.
Christy, it's been a pleasure. Like, thank you for your work. Thank you for helping people stay safe. I'm excited to meet you in person at the luncheon in May.
Thank you. I'm excited to meet you as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
Thank you. The 2026 Inspiring Women of Iowa event will be held on May 8th at the Meadows Events and Conference Center. To purchase tickets and get more information about supporting this event, please visit inspiringwomenofiowa.com. All proceeds from this fundraising event stay 100% local to benefit Girl Scouts of Greater Iowa and their mission to build up girls of courage, confidence, and character who will make this world a better place. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.